Windy, windy, windy. It's going to be windy. The next 4 or 5 days, the forecast is for windy conditions. Like most of you, I don't enjoy fishing in windy conditions. So I would really love some advice from any of you watching. Send me a message or comment. Where do you actually enjoy fishing anywhere around Darwin when it's windy like this? Well, this is where my boat usually sits. So with this windy conditions over the next few days, I've actually taken the opportunity to get some loose ends tied up on my boat Flanders. You see, Flanders is actually starting to show some age. I've had some transducer dramas, which I've tried to fix myself with no luck. I also have some bait tank issues where my pump's not working, which I've tried to fix myself with no luck, and a couple other things that I've tried to fix myself, and I've just realised that I'm not very handy or good at things like that. So I've taken my boat Flanders into Territory Marine to get a few fixes done. Now this isn't a sponsored video or anything like that. I simply contacted 3 different boat repair places throughout Darwin, and they're the only ones that actually got back to me, so that's why they got my business. So what I'm going to do today is something a little bit different. I am going to test out a new bit of gear that I've got. No, I'm not going down to the local pistol club. I am, hold on. Hey, fancy. This is actually a 3-axis gimbal, it's called. This little bad boy here, you put your phone in there and it should stabilize all the footage that I shoot today. Oh, let's just see what happens when we turn it on. Oh. So you should be able to get an idea here of what's happening. This is completely stabilising the footage. I am going to head out and go to a few different locations around Darwin. I might go to a few boat ramps and just get some B-roll footage and see how good this thing actually is. I might head home and see how all this footage turned out. Well, it's turned out pretty good. As far as smoothing out the footage and stabilising it, the little 3-axis gimbal certainly does what it says it will. As much as it is easy to use, it's not convenient to use, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't use this as a permanent camera mount solution. I would only use this for certain shots. Look, for most of you guys, this is probably as far as you need to get in this video today. I do plan on going on for another minute or so, explaining about another couple of ways that I do camera stabilisation without hardware, but most of you probably aren't interested in that. So everyone that's watched up till this point, thank you for watching, and I hope to get my boat Flanders back and back on the water for some more fishing next week. But for everyone who's going to stick around, I've just got 2 really quick ways, rather than going out and buying yourself a 3-axis gimbal. The first way that you can get stabilised footage is by using a higher frame rate and then slowing down the footage. So most things that you watch on screen will be somewhere between 24 and 30 frames a second, depending on where you're watching, at a cinema or on your iPad or on TV. So it might be between 24 and 30. Now, I shoot with my little GoPros. Where is one? One's up here. Yeah. Right there. Anyway, that's a little GoPro session. I shoot in 50 frames a second on this. So if you picture 2 seconds of footage is that long, and it's say 25 frames at 2 seconds long. Because I'm filming at 50 frames a second, I've got double the amount of data in there that I need. I only need 25 frames a second, but I've got 50. So I can actually stretch that out to 4 seconds, still at 25 frames a second. Because I had 50 there, so I stretched it out twice as far, and now I've got all 50 frames, but playing at 25 frames a second. I hope that makes sense, but that's how you can get some really smooth shots. The other way I get nice smooth shots is in my editing. I use Premiere Pro. There's an effect called warp stabilization, or warp stabilizer. I can't remember what it's called. Warp stabilizer. Okay, so you can just literally drag warp stabilizer onto any clip, drag and drop. I've just dropped it on that clip there. And then it'll analyze it, and it'll take a couple of minutes depending on how fast your computer is, and it'll actually, any shaky shots, what it does, it sort of scales the shot up a little bit just to be able to take the but usually not enough that you lose. Can't really explain it, but, and then stabilizes it and then crops around the edges to, so instead of a shot that goes like this, where the edges will, I'm not really doing a good job of explaining how the warp stabilizer works, but just trust me, it's another really good way of stabilizing your shaky footage. I know everyone loves getting out there while they're fishing and filming on their phone or their GoPro and stuff like that, so I just thought today, why not show you a couple of little hints and tips on what might just improve your videos just that little bit. So I hope that's helped for some of you. I'm Mikey Cunningham, thank you very much for watching. I really hope to get out on the harbour and do some real fishing and actually catch some fish for once. Next week will probably be the time. I haven't even looked at the tides yet, so maybe the week after. I have no idea, but hope you stick around, put up with my nonsense for a while, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Oh! Okay, I've got sunscreen all over me. No, no, yeah, it's big time. Can I tighten this up at all, or just let it run? Have I still got sunscreen all over my face? Yeah. Yep. Just reapplying some sunscreen? Yeah, you do look like a anyway. In actual fact, it's probably a slight improvement. I love you guys. I'm so glad.